Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And as you saw from the title, today I am going to talk about a new sewing machine I bought because I, on a whim, bought a new sewing machine. There was some method to my madness. As I'm getting older, I have noticed that my Janome, as much as I love it, you know what, I'm going to take my glasses off. I'll just put them on if I need them. My Janome, which I love, and it's a very good sewing machine. It's the Janome Crystal, Arctic Crystal. I bought it, I think I bought it during COVID. I can't remember if I bought it before or after COVID. I had bought it because I was so tired of my computerized Brother sewing machine. It always had an error. You know, I feel like the problem with computerized sewing machine is once something goes wrong with the computer, you can't really use the machine. So you're stuck. You know, you have like a giant paperweight. Hello from Iowa. It's cold there today. Hi, Olivia. It snowed in New Jersey. It's one of the reasons I'm running a little bit late today is I just had to shovel my walk. Well, actually, my neighbor shoveled my walk. She's so sweet. And then I cleaned off all the cars with a broom. And then I realized none of us had salt. So I had to run to Walmart, get the Pet Safe salt, put some salt down, yada, yada, yada. So I'm running a little late today. But anyway, my Janome has a front load bobbin. Now, that doesn't sound hard. And actually, it wasn't hard until I got older and I was getting really some more arthritis in my hands, which, you know, I'm 61. I feel 30 in my brain and my back feels like we're 80, but I am only 61. So I was looking around and this particular machine kept coming up in videos and people were talking about how much they liked it and blah, blah, blah. It is the cheapest sewing machine you can buy. It was $93 at Walmart, and I think it's 95 or 94 on Amazon. It's, you know, whatever. Amazon did have one that was refurbished. It was $85. Actually, the same model, same color that I got. But they couldn't guarantee shipping until like after Christmas, which I didn't get. And the shipping was really expensive because even though it only weighs, I think 12 pounds, that it's a big box, right? So anyway, I went to Walmart. Walmart put it in my car for me. So yeah, that's what I did. Anyway, it is the Brother LX 3817 manual sewing machine, or mechanical as they call it, 17 stitches, not bad. So we're going to talk about pros and cons, what I liked, what I didn't like. All right, let's start with the machine itself. So this is the machine. It also comes in a lighter blue color, and it also comes in a gray with like a graphic. The lighter blue is it's like a 3817B, and I think the one that's gray actually has the letter G for gray. So it's a basic mechanical sewing machine. Like I said, it only weighs 12 pounds. That's why I didn't do like a close-up with my phone. You can see all the different, you can see the stitches there. It has this, which I love. I love it when you can extend these. I really like the ones that thread like diagonally on the back, or I guess that's horizontally on the back. Has a very easy buttonholer, super easy, really basic buttonholer. Has a drop-in bobbin, unlike my last sewing machine. And I'll show this to you real quick. It has a clear bobbin case. So when you have the bobbin, exactly, that is the reason I liked it, Olivia, because it is nice and easy to carry. You don't have to play bobbin chicken. You can actually see how much of your bobbin is left, that's a really nice feature in its own. I have to be honest. That's like why, well, I guess because they didn't have plastic so much back in the day. So that's why they were metal. But like my mother's Kenmore had a metal plate. You never knew how much bobbin you had in there, you know. So, but anyway, it's a super easy sewing machine. It has the bobbin loading instructions right there, which is super nice. This is kind of hard to do. This is for reverse. And then see that little hole right there? Yeah, Okay, we're going to talk about that. That is the one thing that I really had an issue with. That is for your buttonholer. And if you look at it closely, you can see it has a plus or minus. All right. In order to make your buttonhole stitches tighter, and these are just the vertical stitches, not the one that goes across the top, not the top stitch. You're supposed to loosen or tighten that. It's like, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Like, or is it? No, it's backwards. Okay, it's tighter to the left and looser to the right. So they did it backwards, which, oh, brother, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. We all know that, right? Okay, anyway. So I'm going to show you why I didn't like that. First of all, another quick review today. I had this pattern in my stash. One of this particular pattern, all the pieces, see, had been cut. And I had this weird piece of fabric that I'd gotten in like a big bag of fabric from Goodwill. And it had been cut. It almost looked like sleeves had been cut out of it. And then it also looked like maybe some yoke pieces or something. So it was a really weird shape already, but this apron pattern fit perfectly over it. So I made myself a cute little, very cottagecore, very pretty yellow. It's a beautiful yellow. Let me see if I can get it close enough. You guys might remember it. I'm sure we talked about it at some point in time. It's a beautiful yellow fabric. Now, I got fancy with the pocket, and you can see, because I can't sew in a straight line. I really wish I could sew in a straight line, but I can't. You can see my little mistake on the pocket right there. I put a little fancy little bit of hem lace up there on the pocket. Other than that, it was a pretty simple pattern. I highly recommend it. I think it's an excellent pattern for beginners. I really do. And I wanted to make a quick, simple project to check out the stitches on this. So thank you, Olivia. I think it's cute too. So I did. So obviously all the basic stitches, I just did basic straight stitch. And then it has a blind hem stitch, which I will show you. There's the front of the blind hem stitch. Nice. And then I used a little bit more. You can see the blind hem stitch on the back. So then I made, instead of doing a tie neck, I had this cute little button. I only had one. It was really cute. I measured the button. I basically did the buttonhole the way you're supposed to do it. I measured the button, and you can see, you'll be able to see the ink is still on it where I did the washable ink to make the buttonholes. I did 2 of them. So here's my problem with the buttonholer. You start with this the bottom peg piece. Let me turn it around so it's the bottom peg piece. I was assuming you went down. You don't. When you hit the 2 for the side pieces, it goes up. And you can see, I ended up stitching up because I didn't realize it was going to go up. So this is the first one I did. That was kind of the throwaway one. This is the side that I was looking at. If you look at the back, it actually looks better. But can you see the difference? Look how tight one side is and the other side's really loose. So I tried to tighten this up, and they actually give you a tool. I'll show you the couple of tools they give you. But they give you this thing, which is your screwdriver for changing your foot and everything, and it fits right in there. But I couldn't get it to balance out, and I don't like that about that. I am spoiled because the one thing about my old brother's sewing machine is it had about 5 different fashion buttonhole stitches. It had like the keyhole buttonhole stitch. It had one that was like really thick and super square looking. It had one that was more rounded, almost like an oval. And it was nice. It did them. You put the button in, it measured the button, and it did the buttonhole perfectly. I do miss that. But I'm going to show you. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like, this is going to be a little hard, but I think I can do it. So you're supposed to take this tool and put it into this hole and turn it. Well, you can't see in that little hole. This is not a good tool because it's too short. When you're holding it and you're like, it's too short. So then I tried a screwdriver, and it worked a little bit better, but I still couldn't get it to where I liked it. I have to say the rest of the stitches I loved. They all worked out. I really liked the blind hem stitch. I thought that was a really nice one. I'll show you some of the things it came with. It came with the basic zigzag foot, which I think is a J. I think it's a J foot. And it came with that, and that's metal. Then it came with a plastic zipper foot, which I don't love. I mean, they're not horrible, the plastic feet, but you know, you go on Amazon, you can get like the metal one that's for brother for, you know, $5.99. This is a thing I never use. This is supposed to hold the button so that you can use the machine to sew your button on. I've never used one of these in my life. I think I have about 4 of them from every machine I've ever had. I've never used them. The darning plate, which I haven't used yet, should be interesting. I will like to try darning with this machine and see how you do it. And then it also came with 4 bobbins. These are 2 unused. The white one that's in the machine came pre-wound and was in the machine. That was really nice. And then here's the yellow one from when I was making the apron. Does come with a complete manual. The manual seems to be in, first half seems to be in English, and then the second half seems to be in Spanish. I'm trying to see if they have any other languages. No, it's just English and Spanish. I have noticed sometimes you get a sewing machine and they have French, English, and Spanish. This one is just English and Spanish. Overall, I think it's a great little machine. I really do. And I have to say, my only real issue is that buttonholer. If you're doing blouses, you want a nice looking buttonhole on something like a dressy blouse. If you're doing anything dressy, really, you want a nice looking buttonhole. So I'm not loving that. It's a 4-step buttonhole. It's not hard. It's just, you know, it does have a free arm. It has, it's a jam resistant drop-in, according to this, a jam resistant drop-in buttonhole. It's got an upper tension thread control. I'm reading the box, by the way. It's got an easy bobbin winder. They're absolutely right. The bobbin was like so quick, so easy, shuts off automatically. It was pretty easy. And it's got the reverse if you need to do, like I did reverse on the straps because they're going to have, you know, pull on them. So yeah, I mean, it's all true. They're not lying. It's all true. Oh, this didn't come with the machine, by the way. This was on clearance at Walmart. And I like to keep things that go to the machine together. So I like to keep like the needles for the machine, the bobbins for the machine. Before I bought this, watched a lot of reviews, and some of them were really excellent. So I have put them below. I actually attached them to the video that I made that I called This Is Not an Unboxing video. I actually attached them, but then I realized because it came up as a short, you couldn't actually see them. So I put them back in. They're really good. A bunch of makers I've never heard of. But they gave really sound advice. The one gentleman did a complete series on how to use this, how to use the buttonholer, he did every individual part. He did how to make a bobbin. He did how to thread the machine and thread the bobbin. He went through the stitches. It was really good. It was nice to watch. I watched his video to see how to do the buttonholer. It was really, really good. He's a very good teacher, whoever he is. He does say he teaches sewing. So I got to give him credit for that. I would definitely recommend this for a beginner. And that was the thing. It kept coming up as being a great beginning sewing machine. And it really is. And, you know, the thing is if you have a beginner sewer in your life, or if you have like, especially like I remember when I was a teenage girl, I'm sure my mother thought that I was going to like grow out of the phase of sewing. And I never did. But, you know, I just used her Kenmore. It was basically sitting in the living room. So I just used her Kenmore. But if you have a beginner sewer, you don't want to invest a lot of money because in 2 weeks, they might never want to sew again. This is a really good buy. I think with tax, it came to, I'm trying to think of what it was, 95 maybe. Tax in my state is only about 70%. So I'd have to do the math on that. But I mean, it wasn't bad. Like I said, you can get it at Walmart. You can get it off Amazon. And it is, they use the word intuitive, but I have to be honest, that buttonholer is not intuitive at all. And I did read the manual. I did watch these videos. I don't love it when they say things are intuitive because intuitive only works for people that have sewn. If I didn't know how to sew, this would not be intuitive. I would have to watch some videos about it. And I would have to absolutely read the manual, which you should read the manual anyway, but I get it. Somebody wants to learn to sew. They want to start sewing right away. They don't want to sit through reading the manual for 2 hours. They want to get going. I don't think it's that intuitive. Do I think it's an excellent beginner sewing machine? Absolutely. 17 stitches, I think is more than enough. I've never been the kind of person who thinks you need, I mean, there are machines that have hundreds of stitches on them. For what? Like, I mean, there's like 2 or 3 stitches that are kind of blind hemming stitches. That's it. You need the buttonholer, you need a straight stitch, you need some zigzag for when you're doing stretch knits. You don't need a million stitches. You need stitches that move so you can do zippers, and you need size range, stitch per inch, but you don't need a gazillion stitches. And I think having less stitches is especially really good for beginners, because they're not going to get confused. It's like, this is the stitch you use for zigzagging. This is the stitch you use when you want to do a hem, or you can use this one. This is the stitch you're going to use for everything. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, that noise is the plow. After my neighbor and I did everybody's walks and everything, now they're plowing. Great. So before I go, I have to tell you about this little thing. This is not my project. I found this absolutely beautiful, handmade Christmas stocking at Goodwill. And by the way, it is reversible. If you reverse it, I'll show you the inside. The inside of this thing is as beautiful as the outside. Someone worked very hard on this. And got to tell you, I felt a little mad, kind of the same way I felt when I found that at Goodwill. Why would somebody donate this to Goodwill? Somebody made this for you and you were like, yeah, whatever, and gave it to Goodwill. So, and this is the inside. He, she, whoever made this worked very hard on this. And I love their selection of fabrics, because the fabrics, while, green and red, they're not Christmas fabrics. They're just really pretty. I thought they were beautiful because, especially the front part, which is the part I like the best, reminded me a little bit of kind of Asian motifs in things like kimonos and just generally like Japanese clothing, but kimonos and stuff. Like, see what I'm talking about? Like, look at these. How beautiful these are. Anyway, in the bottom of this were these little pom-poms, which I, shortly before I started this video, tried to sew on. And look what I did. I sewed them on upside down. But I had to show it to you guys. I could have hid my shame, but it was just too funny for words, because I'm dyslexic. So it takes me like a million years to figure out if I do it this way and then I turn it inside out. What? Like, I'm that person. So now I'm going to have to rip the stitches out. But if you look closely, I used a different blind hem stitch on this. So that's what the other blind hem stitch looks like. I think what I'm going to do is take these out. I'm going to hand sew it, and then I'll go over it with because I do like the blind hem stitch. I think it's really pretty and very nice and decorative and everything. But I just had to share that with you guys because I thought it was so funny. All right. So today I put up a lot of new sewing patterns. The reason I'm not showing them to you is because they're patterns we've already seen. I think I got these over the summer, maybe. I can't remember if I got them at Goodwill, if I got them at a yard sale. But I can tell you this. This Wednesday, I am meeting Amy from Requiem Salvage. We've talked about her before. I've gotten patterns from Amy before, and I'll be picking up. Well, she told me she stopped counting at 52. So she's selling me a big box of patterns. So I'm going to go pick up those patterns from her. So this next Sunday coming up, I will be doing another quick little pattern thing. I know I've been laying off the patterns for a while because I've been crocheting and doing stuff like that. You can actually, if you look in the back there, you can see some of my crochet projects are sitting up there. And, just getting ready for Christmas in general. So that will probably be my last little hurrah before the new year. So until next time I see you, I hope you're doing really well. If you don't tune in, that's fine. I hope you have a great Christmas, great holiday, whatever you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah to all of our Jewish friends. Hanukkah started, I believe, Friday night or last night. So happy Hanukkah to anyone who is Jewish. And until next time, I hope wherever you are, the weather's okay. And I will see you soon. And Have a great afternoon. Oh, the sun is setting on me as we speak. And stay warm. Bye, guys.